I started envisioning, like, what if we could create this environment where every workout of the day is still structured in exactly the same way. We still come in, we're still a group, it's still led by a coach. It still might be Nancy programmed on the board, but the night before you received a personalized message from your coach saying, this is the way I want you to attack tomorrow's workout. Over the course of a decade in the military, I got to see some ordinary people do some truly extraordinary things. I started to believe that we're all capable of so much more than we could ever imagine. Now, I'm on a mission to unleash human potential. Whether that's through exercise, nutrition, lifestyle or vocation, it all starts with mindset. Strive for greatness, despise mediocrity, and accept nothing but the best that you can be.
Hey guys, and welcome back to our new Unleashing Potential podcast. This is episode number 2. We are recording it from 2 places at one time. So we have CrossFit Grovedale owner Aaron Summers. For those of you who don't know, he's jumping in from Australia, and I am joining in from the other side of the world in America. Today we are going to chat about the future of training, most specifically in CrossFit, and then most specifically focusing on kind of Aaron's gym, since he's the owner and he's the one who has the most important vision on where he wants his gym to go. So we'll just kind of dive right into it. Aaron, take us through kind of your gym that you own and what you see as a future of training at CrossFit Grovedale.
Yeah, awesome. First of all, hey everyone. Episode 2. Who would have thought we'd make it this far? Here we are. So I think this current situation that has shifted our style of training. This is kind of forced a hand in something that I've foreseen as being the future of CrossFit for a few years now, and I think this has provided us a really good opportunity to implement this customization approach. So I started working with my cousin about 2 years ago. And I kind of started with this process where I would take the daily workout that I was programming for my gym at the time, to 340, shout out to 340. And I'd send him an email every night because he was living in Australia and he wanted me to program for him. So I started sending him an email with 340's workout of the day that I was programming for them. Why do 2 amounts of work, right? And then I just tried to write a spin on it that I thought would help him, because he'd reached out and he said, I want to do some workouts, but I can't do CrossFit because I'm at a Globo gym. I can't be dropping barbells and I don't have a rowing machine. And I'm like, well, give me a list of all the stuff that you've got. And he did that. And then I said, well, what is it that you're trying to achieve? And we went through the goals. And then from there, I just took the 340 workouts, put a spin on them that would help him reach those goals and work with the equipment that he had. And I realized, like, there's power in this. This is a really awesome approach, because he started hitting goals faster than my clients were at my members were at 340. So I saw something quite powerful in that and thought this could be the future of CrossFit.
So he was getting customizable workouts from a WOD that you were creating for group classes of 10 to 15 people. He was getting the same thing. You were just customizing it. Exactly.
So that the group workout. So an example I can think of, the group workout might have had a 400-meter run. So let's call it Nancy, 400-meter run, over 15 overhead squats for 5 rounds. In the gym, that's fine. We can program that to the masses. But he was at a gym where he was on like the 3rd floor, so there was no way that he could do a 400-meter run without ascending and descending a flight of stairs between. So we would say, well, what do you have? And he had an assault bike. So, all right, let's put the assault bike in, because that's going to actually fit your equipment. And with the overhead squats, you've already told me that you're really struggling with overhead mobility. So I want you to go with an empty barbell and do this and this and this and this. And that customization kind of approach helped him improve, because he wasn't trying to beat anybody else. He was in there doing the workouts. Admittedly, the environment wasn't that community driven, but that was the best we had to work with. but he could really improve because he wasn't trying to beat the person next to him by loading up that 95 pounds on the overhead squat and then struggling with the overhead mobility. So I think I saw a lot of power in that and a lot of opportunity to try to mold that. I started envisioning, like, what if we could create this environment where every workout of the day is still structured in exactly the same way. We still come in, we're still a group, it's still led by a coach. It still might be Nancy programmed on the board, but the night before you received a personalized message from your coach saying, this is the way I want you to attack tomorrow's workout. Your right shoulder is busted for starters. So we're not going to go overhead on these overhead squats. We're just going to do a front squat because we want to work on that quad strength as part of the goal that you told me. X, Y, and Z. Let's come in. I want you to replace this with this and this with this. So you'll still do the workout with the class. You still have that community environment, that community feel. You're still working out next to and with your friends, but it's more focused on your actual goals, and you can know that coming into the group. So the structure of the workout, it's still 5 rounds for time. It's just 5 rounds of things that are going to suit your goals. Still might be a 20-minute AMRAP with 3 exercises, but if somebody is 40 kilograms overweight and they're coming into our gym and they need to lose 40 kilograms, and one of the movements is muscle up transitions, is that really helping them lose weight? Or could they be better served jumping on the assault bike for 15 calories as that second movement in a 3-movement triplet or something like that? Like, the customization helps us progress faster.
So they're still getting online coaching, but they're still coming into a gym every single day with still that community CrossFit feel of like a class of 10 people that might just all kind of be doing something different.
Exactly. And the time structure will still feel the same because it's still a 20-minute AMRAP. We still start together. We still finish together. We still cheer each other on. It's just the movements within that might vary.
And then that can also work since you have that option, it kind of gives your gym an upper hand to still take on people who want to be fully online based, because you already have that platform for people that are coming into your gym as well.
Exactly. And so I guess that's the blend of where we're at right now. Isn't the perfect situation because everybody's 100% online and they're working out from home. Ideally, they would still get this customization piece that we're sending them each night to spin their workouts, but they'd come into the gym to do that so they could be around their friends. But like you just said, it also extends our reach. We have the ability now to work with anybody, anywhere, under any given conditions. So some of my mining friends can reach out and say, hey, I have a mining gym. This is the equipment that's available. Let me do your workouts. Or somebody in the States can say, hey, I have access to a CrossFit gym. But for one reason or another, the programming they're currently doing isn't helping me with my goals. Is there any way you can throw me yours or customize theirs? So there's lots of options there. And I just think that personalized spin is just enough to really help people get to where they're going.
So on the client aspect of it, a client that's listening to this, what does it differ from when it comes to price? Are you paying double or triple what you would if you actually just went into your gym? Or is this just kind of the same thing as a membership? Or what is your vision on price?
Yeah, so effectively right now, the way we're offering it, because of the circumstances, is it's the standard pricing for membership. But in the future, it would be an additional service on top of your membership. But it's going to be, I guess this is where it differs from personalized PT, is that it's not a huge investment of time from the coach. It is an investment in time, but not at the same level as doing PT. So I can't say exactly without running the numbers, but it would be an additional cost on top of your membership. So you might have a baseline group class membership with currently $45 a week, roughly. It might be $65 a week, but you get this customized approach every day.
Right. So it's not like some substantial difference on like thinking about what you would pay for a gym and triple it. It's just a little bit extra just because you're getting that customized on top of it.
Exactly. And it's not customized just to the programming. What we're doing with some of our guys is we're looking at rest days and making sure people are recovering, getting that element in as well. We're also putting yoga and stretching and mobility classes in to make sure they're hitting those areas as well. So there's also a bit of, the level of accountability is much higher through this as well. we know when people are logging their stuff and when they're getting these workouts in, so we know that they're progressing towards their goals. In the typical class environment, that's a little bit harder to gauge because there's a lot more people and you're not working directly with a coach. So it's a little harder to gauge that. So I guess that the additional accountability is probably, one huge element too that kind of factors in there.
Now let's talk about, we all got them. They're everywhere in the world, right? There's people that enjoy CrossFit and come in every day because they're what we call leaderboard chasers. They're coming in there, they want to see what the person to the left and the right of they're doing, and they want to beat them. I've been that person at some point, the first few years of me doing CrossFit. How is this going to be attractive to them when they want to be doing what everyone else is doing and making sure that they're beating everybody?
Yeah, I can relate. That's still me. I wish it wasn't. Do as I say, not as I do. But yeah, so with that, so what we're kind of getting at there is that the athletes that, whether they like to admit it or not, are coming in and they're what brings them back to the gym is that they're winning the whiteboard. They're chasing that RX, they're beating everybody else, and they're in the top of the leaderboard. It's as sad as it is to say to the OGs of CrossFit, that is a dying trend. A lot of the best programming in the world, NC Fit and these guys, they're starting to program where there's only really 2 workouts a week where you even record your score. The rest of the week, it's just work for quality or work for time. But it's like, for this same reason, we don't want to be chasing scores all the time. This is if we treat it like a sport, there's no sport in the world where we're trying to compete every single day. It's outrageous. The idea of competing every day just isn't going to make you a better athlete. So getting back to the question, I think what we need to do is we have to realize that this, when we're coming into the gym, is training to be better, so that if you are a competitor, if you want to beat people, that's fine, by all means. But we're going to channel that into something better. We're going to sign you up to one of the local weekend challenges every other weekend, or maybe once a month, where you can go in and show how much your improvement at the gym is going to make you a better competitor on an actual competitive platform, instead of competing against 15 other people that don't even know they're competing. They're just in there trying to do their workout and you're kicking their ass saying, yeah, man, like I smashed it. But they don't even know they're competing against you. So let's actually use this and channel up to the open if that's your goal, and crush out the open. Yeah, you might not have one single opportunity all year to look at the leaderboard and see your name on top, but then the open rolls around and you just wipe the floor. That is your moment. Likewise, if you really want to compete in local competitions where it is a competition, and use the training time at the gym to build up for that. And I know we've got a few athletes that have probably, and they would admit it, that they've probably pushed too hard chasing an RX for too long, and they really haven't improved. We've got a couple now that are messaging me like, I've improved more in 2 weeks than I have in like a year at CrossFit because of this customization approach, because it's targeting the areas they want to improve in, and it's going to help them be a better competitor. So the long term, if you want to be a competitor, this will make you a better competitor. You've just got to be able to say, I'm not here to win the whiteboard every day. And if the gym started to move into that trajectory, there wouldn't be so much whiteboard. We wouldn't even call it an RX. It would just be a general, like we are now. We're not putting a weight up on our workouts. We're just saying this is hang dumbbell cleans, but we're not saying what weight that hang dumbbell clean is.
Yeah, I love that. There's a way to kind of make this different approach. You can, if you understand the why of doing it, it can be attractive to any type of athlete, whether it's their first time stepping into CrossFit, or whether it is those who are trying to make it to the games, or those who are chasing the RX. You just have to understand that person and know how to, that's why it's customized, know how to make the online programming work for them.
Oh, 100%. I think if you want to be good at CrossFit and you want to be able to beat the rest of the gym or whoever it is you're competing against, this is single-handedly going to be, well, it's not. PT is probably going to be a more effective method, but that has its drawbacks as well. But if you want to get better at CrossFit and be able to beat everyone else, you need to take the step back and work on your weaknesses and work on your technique and work on your skills, rather than just come in and do Nancy, but the ugliest overhead squats you've ever seen, but win by a minute, but never actually get any better. So I think if you're a competitive athlete and you want to be a competitive athlete and you can't see this as being beneficial, then you've got a lot of work to do before actually becoming a competitive athlete.
and I'll speak for myself, and I'm sure I could speak for other people in saying this, is like those things that you want to work on, you don't work on in the gym because you don't want people watching you doing a movement that you're unable to do, or that is like your worst movement. They call it like the accessory work, and nobody wants to be doing that because it's not pretty and it's not
Yeah, it's not
showboating. So
sexy.
this exactly. So this gives people the opportunity. Well, you got the chance to do this at home, or attack it this way, so that will, in hindsight, approve that certain movement that is a weakness.
Yeah, exactly. And also knowing in the back of your mind that this isn't competition, this is training, and that it might not look as sexy when you're sitting on the floor doing strict dumbbell presses when other people are doing handstand push-ups. Yeah, you got to be able to say, all right now, this might not look as cool, but when the open rolls around, I'm going to crush out that workout.
Exactly. Let's hop over just real quick. We'll switch gears because this is something me and you were talking about the other day, the CrossFit Games. If you could see a future change in the CrossFit Games, let's chat about that a little bit. What could you see working out in the future of the CrossFit Games?
Well, the CrossFit Games, everyone's favorite topic. We love speculating about what it's going to look like and what it could do. And in the end of the day, none of us really. Dave Castro and the powers that be will have their way, and then he doesn't really get a say so much anymore either. So Glassman will make his decisions, but I definitely an area that I really enjoy talking about because it is fun and it's good to speculate, and we can have a little bit of fun with it. And obviously we saw some big changes last year with the cut system and the way that sanctionals replaced the regionals. And I thought that was awesome. I loved the sanctional idea. I thought it gave us the opportunity to bring like you and I, we went to Wodapalooza a couple of years ago. Prior to that, we would have gone to Wodapalooza. It would have been an awesome event. But this year we went and we get to see Tia Toomey throwing down against Sarah Sigmund's daughter. And like, these names wouldn't have been at a local competition.
Yeah.
It may be one of them, but not to the level that we saw that year. So I think it really boosts that. So that's kind of where we're at now. Right now, we kind of have one tournament, and that's where everybody trains for them. And we're trying to peak for this one tournament. What I heard Marcus, I think it was Marcus Philly talking about just recently. I believe it was Marcus Philly, but I don't want to misquote. But I did hear someone mention it, and it was just kind of a backhanded mention. And then I started to think more and more about it. And I think it's a perfect idea is to structure the season a bit more like golf or tennis, depending on what you prefer to follow. But either way, we have 4 majors throughout the year. So 4 majors. Those 4 majors hold a lot more weight than anything else. So they'd almost be like the CrossFit Games. We'd have to decide which ones get that title and that prestige. And in the end, money talks. So whoever sponsors the most will get those. Let's imagine that Wodapalooza, the CrossFit Games at Madison, Wisconsin, we'll call it Dubai for one, and we'll call it the Down Under Championship. Let's imagine there are 4 majors. And throughout the season, those 4 majors carry a lot more weight in your overall ranking as an athlete. And the goal at the end of the year is a few things. One is to be the number 1 ranked at the end of the season. So throughout the year, you want to finish number 1 ranked. That's where the bragging rights come into it. Until recently, you didn't get any money for that in golf. You do now. Mm-hmm. They actually brought in a competition called the FedEx Cup, where you actually get paid to be the number 1. 15 million, I think. Nice chunk of change.
Yikes.
But that's kind of one thing you play for. The other thing, and the second most important thing, is you play for majors. In golf or in tennis, the true champions of the sport only get the true credit from winning majors. Nobody looks at your career and says you won 100 titles and 0 majors. I mean, that's Anna Kournikova right there. Never won a major. Will never be regarded as a champion of tennis. But people like Roger Federer, who's won like 22 majors, these are the people that we look to as the champions of the sport because they consistently won majors. So that's what we'll look to. People will have 4 opportunities a year to win a major, and that's what gets them credibility as an athlete. In line with that, what we now call sanctionals would just be like the PGA Tour events. They're awesome events. They're really well done. They're sponsored by other companies that just want a little piece of the pie, a little bit of the action, but they're not quite on the same level. They're going to get you points for the overall year. Some of them will be qualifiers for the majors. Some of them won't. But they'll accrue points. So you could just hustle that season and not win a major, but still get enough points doing it on the little comps that you'll still be competitive CrossFitter, so to speak, on the big scenes. But that gives opportunities for businesses in local areas to really put some money in. Like, if you could run one in Geelong and be maybe back in the day, not anymore, but could be sponsored by Ford. There'd be a big Ford factory in Geelong, and then might run one in Melbourne and it'd be sponsored by this. So there's a way that we could do that. And then the idea would be that because those 4 majors are spread out over the year, there's a couple of ways to approach a year. Someone like Matt Fraser, he's probably looking at it like Tiger Woods. He's thinking, I want to win 4 majors in a year. It's called a Grand Slam. I want a Grand Slam. That's my goal, to get a Grand Slam, which means he has to tailor his training to be able to peak for 12 whole months. On the flip side, some others might just say, you know what, I just want to beat freaking Matt Fraser. I'm sick of him winning every tournament. This gives us a chance. This gives us a chance to beat him. So we could have Pat Vellner, who just specifically trains his ass off to peak for one event, just one major. He takes the throne for one major. He gets a major trophy. He gets to say he's now a major winner. Fraser doesn't get to get his sweep because he's had to, his whole year peak may not be able to compete with Vellner's 1 week peak. And it gives us a chance to really spread these trophies out, because right now we're seeing 1 male and 1 female just dominate the sport. This will give us a chance to compete against that and have a more even spread. So I think there's a lot of pros.
And the chance to basically watch 4 CrossFit Games in a year.
Exactly,
who wouldn't want to do that?
And then financially, we're kind of at a point. We talked about this the other day. I don't know the exact numbers, but I believe Wodapalooza, the Dubai Championship, and Rogue Invitational, those kind of compete for the second biggest prize in CrossFit. But as far as I know, none of them even offered $25,000 to the first place. I don't think if it is, it's not more. Whereas if you win the CrossFit Games, you're going to win just shy of 300,000. So the gap there is so large, it just makes no sense. If we could say spread the total $1 million of prize monies over 4 different tournaments, then there's the opportunity for other people to make some serious money. And it spreads that out. It also spreads out the sponsorship opportunities. So it wouldn't have to be sponsored by Reebok all the time. Yeah, the CrossFit Games will still be the Reebok CrossFit Games, but then we might have the Noble Wodapalooza, and then we might have the Nike Australian Down Under. Like, these other companies get to come in on the action, and they'll get to bid on every individual tournament. So you'll have the BMW, like in golf, the BMW Classic and the Waste Management, and then all these different options that come into it. So I think, I don't know, I'm just putting ideas out there. Hopefully Castro's watching this, or even more so Glassman, and they might consider that option.
Where does the Open fall into all of this? Is it still a thing?
It's a good question. I think the Open has to be a thing for us people that aren't like professional athletes.
Speak for yourself.
Wherever that lands in terms of the season, that's going to be a bit harder to tell. I think they need to keep the Open. It's fun. It's fun for the gen pop, so to speak.
Sure.
It's not really that necessary, and it's a bit of a pain in the ass for some of the top level athletes. But another thing you would look at, if you ran a major system, in the way that golf works, the way that tennis works, some are qualifying events. Some you have to qualify to make the event. Others are invitationals. You just have to get an invite. So you might be having a bad year, or you might have broke your arm, like Sam Briggs did a couple of years back. If Rogue are hosting the event and they think you deserve a place and you had a broken arm through the qualifying, they're going to throw you an invite. That's the good thing about having invites and qualifications. And that's where majors come in, because majors, there'll always be at least one a year that's an invite. And they call it invitational. So that's it. That gives us that opportunity too. And I think qualifying, there will still be qualifying through the sanctionals and all that. Whether we'll need to qualify through the games, through the Open. Yeah, possibly. It's still fun. Yeah. They're still doing it right now as we speak. And maybe the games, the CrossFit Reebok Games, will just be the top 20 people or the top 40 people out of the Open. I don't know. Could be something like that.
Well, I think that is a great place to leave it today. Thanks for listening.